Okay, so today we're going to talk about how you can prepare the room for day-old chicks, and then we'll go into details into other things that we need to talk about, at least for those people who are coming up in this business of keeping the beds, keeping up the chickens for meat. So we'll talk about the most necessary things that are supposed to be done the moment you are starting up this business. So this is what usually this is most of the essential things you need to do on the first days of starting this business. So first thing first, you need to make sure the loom is clean. You clean the loom, you make sure the loom is intact, you make sure the loom is okay, the ventilation is okay. You have to make sure all those things are not a problem to the loom. So the second thing you do most of the time is you need to disinfect the premise. Of course, if for example, maybe the loom you are using, it hasn't been used for a long time, there are insects there, and that's something that we don't need. You find like maybe you used to put things in the room and stuff like that, or maybe you just built it out there and then, which is which is not really. So okay, the point I'm trying to make is you have to make sure the loom is clean, and then you have to make sure the loom is disinfected. Okay, because the beds are sensitive to these diseases, and for biosecurity reasons you have to disinfect the premise. So make sure you disinfect the premise. That is maybe 2 or 3 days after you bring in your chicks, but it depends, because for viral killer, when you disinfect, there's no problem. You can put in the beds in there. You have to make sure you disinfect the place. But for viral killer, you can disinfect even the same day the chicks are coming in. There's no problem. But the proper thing you can do is you disinfect the premise before even the beds get in. So you have to make sure you disinfect the premise. And one of the disinfection you can use is there's viral killer. The other one is for expertise. The one we use jig, and it needs some measurements for you to disinfect the premise, which is a breach. So now the second thing you need to do is you need to prepare the card boxes, or maybe you can use the newspapers. You need to prepare those, because when the beds come in, you don't have to use you don't have to put them direct on the floor or on the concrete. They need to be on paper. So you prepare the card boxes. You make sure you put the card. You prepare the card boxes. I don't know which you're going to use, the card boxes or maybe the newspapers. But for me, I usually use the card boxes. They are the ones which are, at least they are thick. At least they are not too close to the floor, because when the floor is cold, which means the coldness will generate into the newspaper, because it's the newspapers they don't have that thickness. So that's why I use the card boxes, because they're a little bit thick, and it's not easy for the coordinates to reach to the top of the card boxes. That's why I use the card boxes. So I would advise to use the card boxes, but it depends on you, whichever you are having. So that's the way it is. Then the second thing is you need to make sure before the beds, maybe, okay, if someone can manage to keep up with temperature, good temperature in the poultry room, for 24 hours before the beds come in, that's a good thing. But for those who can't manage to prepare the room for 24 hours, at least they can prepare the room maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours. You prepare the room, you make sure the temperature is okay. If you can manage to come up with a thermometer to use in the poultry, you can come up with it. But if you can't manage, you can stay in the poultry room. Then you are able to detect that the temperature is okay. Okay, so guys, and for the temperature, you can't just say the temperature is okay in the room. No, of course, blooding time, day old chicks, blooding time is the most it's not an easy thing. It's the most difficult thing to do during blooding time. These day old chicks, from day one to 7 days, these are sensitive times. You need to take care of your beds, especially with temperature. So what usually happens is, like, I don't know whichever method you are using for heat, because they need heat. they need a heat at a good percentage, which is about if we put it in a degrees Celsius, we'll say like about 34, 35 degrees Celsius. That's the one which is needed in the poultry, if I'm not mistaken. Because I've seen some say like 45, but according to my studies for poultry, I've seen like the temperature which is needed is about 35, 34 degrees Celsius. So hope I'm not mistaken with the temperature, but if I'm mistaken, you can consult from the you know the suppliers of your beds. They are able to tell you. They're able to tell you the temperature which is needed in the room. So for me, I make sure the temperature is okay before the beds come in. So and it's been working well for me to make sure like my room temperature is okay. So but mostly what I can say is well, heat. Now let's talk about the source of heat you are using. Maybe you are using incandescent bulbs, or maybe you are using charcoal. So mostly I'll talk about charcoal. Charcoal, you have to make sure it's it doesn't produce carbon monoxide. You can check on my other video about carbon monoxide being in the temperature. Sorry, not being in the room. It's not good for the beds. So you have to make sure your charcoal is okay. You can check on my video where I talked about carbon monoxide being in the poultry house and the effect it can bring to the beds. You can check that. So if you're using incandescent bulbs, of course you can detect as well, like okay, the temperature is okay. So mostly the blooders will, the suppliers of your beds will tell you the kind of the temperature which is needed. They'll tell you 32, 29, in that range. But mostly what I usually do is I take up to like 34 degrees. Then after some weeks, I keep on reducing the temperature. So that's what I think, guys. So second thing, before the beds are live, that means you've prepared the cat boxes, the temperature is okay. Then the second thing you need to do is you need to have clean water. You make sure you have clean water. You can't use water that is chlorinated. It's not advised. Okay, chlorinated water is not advised. Chlorine is a chemical, and if it goes into your beds, and then plus the water you are using, you are the first water you need to use mostly for about 7 days is water with vitamins. Now if those vitamins mix up with the chlorinated water, chlorine is chemical, they'll form up something else which is not good for the beds. So non-chlorinated water, that's the one you're supposed to use. Make sure your water is clean. So then of course, the first thing you need to do, I have most of the details in my other videos about loading times, especially the time of using vitamins. You can check on those, but I'll speak briefly about that. So first thing you need to do is after we are done with the temperature, the cat boxes, and everything like that. Then the second thing is water that is first drank by the beds, the chicks, the day-old chicks, is water with the vitamins. Only water for about 2 hours. You need to make sure you give them water with a stress pack. They are stressed through traveling and stuff like that. So they need to drink water with a stress pack for about 2 hours. Make sure they are in a right now condition. They are not stressing. So when they are done drinking water with a stress pack, then you are good. Then you can display now the feed. You display the feed in there. After 2 hours they start eating, but make sure water with vitamin is always used for 7 days with day-old chicks, broilers or mostly. So that's the way it is. You display now feed, which is a starter. They start eating. you start checking on how they are behaving. You know, birds are weird sometimes. You find you give them feed, they are not eating, which is not good, which means you need to consult why they're not eating. But mostly they'll start eating. It's automatic, they start eating, but you have to check on the behavior, the way they are behaving. As you can see in this video how these birds are behaving. This is why I had to put only the birds which are small in this video, because these chickens you are seeing here, like here, the way they are eating like this, that's a normal behavior. So what happens is like mostly they will advise you to say like you need to put feed like down on the card boxes for about 3 days. So me, what I usually do is I put feed first. I put on the plates, and I also put down. So I do both ways. I put on the plates, then I also put down, because the advice is to put the feed down, and you need to put down for 3 days. But for me, I use the plates and the down part. So again, the other thing I didn't mention about the card boxes. Some people will say like, why can't we use sawdust? Sawdust is not good, because the time the day-old chicks come, they don't know the the taste of food they need to have. So sometimes you can find like they start consuming the sawdust, they start consuming them, which will be a problem. Or maybe they'll start consuming whatever thing you've put in there, as long as it's small. But if you are using wood chips, those are in large dimensions, they are big, they can't eat those. Okay, you can use those, but cardboard boxes are safe because they can't eat the card boxes. So that's it. So that's the way it is. So we go back again to the part of putting the feed down and the feed on the plates. So you see, like I put the feed on the plates, and then the other feed I had to put like down on the card boxes. Make sure the birds are eating all the time. So that's the way it is, guys. Make sure the birds are eating. Then that's a good thing for the birds. Then you continue with the procedure. The most important procedure is with the temperature, guys. You make sure you keep up with the temperature each and every day. You have to make sure you check the temperature is okay, because for 7 days you're gonna experience some hard time if you are not good with putting up the fire, or maybe you are using electricity, which you are using incandescent bulbs to heat up your room. You have to make sure the temperature is at the right condition. Those are most essential. The most essential thing is putting up with the temperature. Make sure the temperature is okay. And then with when we talk about temperature, even though I talked about temperature in my other videos, how the chicks behave, I'll still talk about it, because maybe people need to hear it from one video. So what happens is like when the temperature is okay, you'll find your beds are sprayed all over the poultry room. They are spread out. That means the temperature is okay. But if your beds are staying at one place, they are trying to lean on each other. That means the temperature in the room is not okay, which means it's cold. Okay, so you have to make sure the temperature is okay. You make sure the beds are they're spread out. Then if it's too hot again, you see your beds like going off from where the heat system is. They'll go like far away to make sure they find the light temperature where they can stay. So you find like they are in corners, they've gone the other side, they're not spreaded all over. So that's what happens, guys. So make sure the room temperature. The most important thing is temperature during brooding time. Brooding time is a difficult time to keep up with. So you need to make sure those brooding times are okay. Then the other things I talked about in the other videos I have on YouTube here, you can still watch on my channel. You can learn one or two things, so that since you are new to the business, you can learn one or two things on the other videos that I have, because I can't put everything in one video. So you can watch the other essential things that you need to do with your poultry on the other videos. So guys, that was it about blooding. I hope I had to tackle all the necessary things that you need at start. Mostly I can't tackle everything. At least you get 1 or 2 or 3 points on this video that I've made. That will be a great thing to your coming up with this business. At least you have a little bit of knowledge. Then on the other videos you can watch on my videos, you can find some other knowledge there. Then when you put them together, you make a combo that will bring up something to you which you benefit the time you be, you know. If you're not clear when you come up with your beds, make sure you just subscribe to this channel so that every time when I post a new video, you are able to see the video. Then you are able to come up like, okay, you at least you have something about this business and how you handle it. You know, management is something that you need to be clear of. At least you need to have knowledge. You know, every business you need to have knowledge about that business. So at least I can give you some tips, not all of them, because even me, I don't just stay up because with the knowledge that I'm having, then I say like I know everything. No, I still learn from other farmers what happens to the beds. So that's it, guys. Even you can learn from me some other things, then the other things you can learn from others. That's it. So mostly me, I post my videos about the way my chickens behave, what is supposed to be done to the beds. Then you can get some knowledge there. At least I catch up with other things that are important to the beds. So even when you listen to other farmers, they'll tackle on other things. Even me, when I listen to them, I'll have some other knowledge, and then I'll use them in my poultry. So that's it, guys. At least you will have some knowledge, then you're able to, you know, keep up with a good management with your beds. So thank you guys for, you know, for having your time to listen to this knowledge about chickens for meat. At least for those who are starting up, at least they have some tips. So thank you guys. For more videos, you can just subscribe to this channel. Then you'll be having more videos when I'm bringing up, you know, some updates about chickens. Thank you so much, guys.